There are a few ways to get to Fernandina, but the very best way is by taking the St. Johns River Ferry.
You're watching Route 904. This episode is about interesting things to do in Fernandina, but we're going to start in Mayport. And I'm here with Lindsay Brock, the president of the Friends of the St. Johns River Ferry.
That's it.
Lindsay, tell me, what does that mean?
Well, the Friends is an organization that's designed to promote the ferry, promote the use of the ferry, make sure everyone's aware of what a great asset this is for the community. The history of the ferry actually goes back to 1874 when it was first started off with old wooden flatboats that crossed the river. Then in 1948, the state put in the ferry system that we have today, and it went along fairly well until recent times when budget cuts came in and it looked like we were going to lose the ferry at that point. That's when the community stepped in.
A group of concerned citizens, part of the North Jacks Community Association, including Don Mathias, began to fight to keep the ferry. This is how the Friends of the St. Johns River Ferry was formed. Bill Gulliford and Elaine Brown formed the Ferry Task Force, which merged with Friends, and the city formed the St. Johns River Ferry Commission, which manages the ferry, now headed by Councilman Crescembini as chair.
And we now have the group today that has been working hard with the community so that we now are proud to say we've got long-term funding in place, we've got money from the state and from the federal government for improvements on the landings, and we're celebrating the fact that it looks like we've got the ferry secure. The ferry goes from the Mayport side in Mayport there by Atlantic Beach and then crosses over to Fort George Island right there on Heckscher Drive. It's about a 15-minute ride, but the real important thing is if you were to drive it, it's going to take you almost 30 miles. You're going to have to go out over Dames Point Bridge and drive back around.
So it actually is a movable bridge.
It is. It is a movable bridge. It is part of A1A. This is where A1A crosses the river.
That's awesome. Now, you guys actually have an app that you can download for your phone that tells you where the ferry is, the schedule of the ferry, what side of the river it's on, all kinds of cool stuff like that, right?
Jack's Ferry app. Download that. It gives you the schedule. It gives you the latest updates on ferry closures, if there's any work that's being done. And it's just a great way to make sure you know when the ferry is going to be there. And what we would really love is for people that have a passion about the ferry, is join us. Become a friend of the ferry officially.
Awesome. If you believe in ferries, clap your hands and help this man out. And you're a ferry ambassador. Real quick, what does that mean?
The Ferry Ambassador Program is one that we started up. A guy named Rich Reddick, who's on our board, thought that we needed to have more involvement with the passengers on the weekends. For many, it's their first time that they've ever ridden the ferry. We want it to be a memorable experience, and that's what we're here for.
So, Lindsay, some people may ask, why not just build a bridge?
You know, a lot of folks have looked at that, and unfortunately, it's just not feasible. We don't have the room, and it really would impact the environment. You know, one of the things that's neat about the ferry is you'll see kayakers, you'll see paddleboarders, you'll see surfers that are using that ferry to get out there and really enjoy what we know is the beauty of Northeast Florida.
Construction of a bridge in place of the ferry would be too expensive because it would have to be as high as the Dames Point Bridge to allow ships to pass. If you would like to become a friend of the St. Johns River Ferry, like the Facebook page and fill out the application, along with a $25 membership donation.
On your way to Fernandina, it's a great way to go.